But that's just the beginning. To quote this death letter, that's just the
That's
beginning.
just the beginning.
How how could this even be possible? That there would be a system that lets you choose who to level up and how. I don't know what it says. How to power up superstars you love. Not just more numbers, but long-term roster value, more utility, like less regrets. How could that even change? I'm at a loss. I'm completely at a loss for that.
So last night I was recruiting. I was recording the Drew McIntyre content.
Oh, you're being recruited by another faction, you say?
The Battletoads have gotten to me now. No, I was recording the Drew McIntyre content, and I had this like glitch where I accidentally said something, and then went, oh my gosh, what if that's what they're doing? So here's what it is. So a few weeks, or actually a couple months ago, we made a video that said, hear me out. What if 7 star is next month? So I'm going to clip this section out of the overall podcast, make it its own video too, because
Okay.
hear me out. What if stars
Okay.
are going
All right.
away? What if there's no more stars? There is no 7 star coming. What if instead there's a system of progression that's based purely on levels? So as you take characters up certain levels, you have the ability to increase things like certain base stats. Like, we've never been able to, other than just going, okay, well, I moved them from 6 bronze to 6 silver, 6 silver to 6 gold, from 6 gold or 6 silver to 6 gold, my primary color gem value doubled in damage. Great. What if instead it was more of some sort of a dynamic system where you could choose up to a certain cap, like increasing a character's specific gem colors? Think about this. Think about Zombie Undertaker. Zombie Undertaker was great for a hot minute, but his gem
Okay.
color of choice is green and he is blue. Blue's his primary color. Green is, I think, his tertiary color, his third most powerful color. What if instead of buffing his blue gems on like a star level up, you could buff his green gem damage instead, and all of a sudden green gem damage can become equal to his primary color. Now all of a sudden Zombie Undertaker is doing way more damage than he was before. And that's an outdated old example, but I mean the star
Okay.
levels basically just upgrade you on a set system. Everybody moves up by this. Every health pool moves up by this. What if instead of stars, you could kind of assign like points, or I don't know, whatever, but you could assign something where, yeah, I want my health to go up, or I don't want my health to go up at all. I'm happy with a 30 million health pool. I want my move damage to get all of that buff, or something like that. Because let's be honest, 7 star is kind of the make or break point for the future of this game. If 7 star comes out, they have to do something with the moves. They have to do something with that. But then it's basically just this linear path of, oh, well, then 7 silver is going to be a gem damage meta and 7 gold's going to, like it. But something like that does allow you then to invest in the characters you care about, because that's the line that has been haunting me. We're talking about long-term roster value, fewer why did I level this regrets, which means there's some way coming to take that Piper Niven that maybe somebody on this podcast grabbed instead of the Piper plate and build her up to be a monster. I don't know. This is
I
just my thinking out loud. What do you think so far, Rusty?
Well, I think I may be going way too hard after Piper Niven's gear this month to try to justify the mistakes of the past. I think I might be making a mistake of the present to do that.
Right?
So uh, I don't know, Lee. I mean, like conceptually, I like that. I have no idea how that would be implemented
I don't
into
either.
the
Yeah.
game. It seems like talent level, 35K or what does Iron Sheik always talk about? Like 39,898 or whatever, the
Right.
max talent number, like that threshold would have to be increased
It
to
will
what?
be. Yeah.
We're talking 70K talent. And then you
Right.
choose your own adventure of how you get there. You
Yeah.
can get there by raising HP, or you could get there by raising, green gem damage alone. That makes the game a lot more complicated as far as like a RPG, or like a, and like I'm okay with that. Like like if I could take Rock and Roman and only boost red move damage,
Right.
like I may push him if it scales. And
Right.
that's where that's the asterisk, right? If it scales. Because
Yeah.
like some guys are going to do it for the memes. Some guys are going to take that whatever Tech Dean or Gold Dust, with five hollow stars and push him to the moon, for the memes.
Are you
But
calling
it
out my
doesn't
talent up
scale.
video?
Well, I'm just saying, right? It doesn't scale. It doesn't scale, right? So like you just do it to just like, well, I need the contest points,
Yep.
right? So that for me, that's the asterisk. Okay, if it scales, all
Yep.
right. Like that'd be cool. I'd like to take up the people I really like, and neglect the people I don't. Um, but I'm not sure how that impacts CSS, right? And that's the other thing is like, what does that mean when it comes time for contests for feud?
Right.
I don't know. It sounds like a lot of dominoes would have to start falling if
Right.
that change was made. But,
Right.
I don't
And
know.
maybe it's not as detailed. I mean, because I spent most of my life playing Final Fantasy, RPGs, that kind of stuff. So maybe I'm getting too in the weeds and that's not even a possible thing that's coming. But I mean, just the way they language or the language they write on this of, long-term roster value, more utility, like being able to use more characters more ways. When you just do 7 star, like let's say 7 star is just okay, everybody's health pool doubles, everybody's move damage goes up 50%, everybody's gem damage goes up 25%. Well, you still have the same characters pretty much that are on top. I mean, you shift it a little bit towards move damage. So your move damage guys are a little bit better for a while, but then it inevitably comes right back to gem damage and multi gems being the top of the pile. So it always self corrects back to multi gem, multi damage, multi. Yeah, you heard me. And so it always ends up in the same place. What they're describing to me feels like it's something dramatically different. And so even if 7 star does come, it feels like they're not just doing the same thing they did from 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just dreaming too big, but it does seem like something's in the works. And no matter what, like think about the dev hours they would have to put into this. Going to 7 star in the traditional way that we've understood the game is going to require a buttload of dev hours because 670 plus characters have to get a new move. So there's a new move.
Right.
It's their third color. That means you have to look at every single move set of every single character in the game. Make sure that the B tiers stay B tiers, that the S tiers stay S tiers, that nobody is like dramatically overpowered. I mean, that alone would take 2 years of dev work just right there. So maybe they just invested that year or two of dev work into something different than we expected. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, so one thing that might be a shortcut there is if the new move, the 7 star move, or was simply a boost move, right? A boot like everyone gets it, and it's like, boost gem damage, whatever, 2 times the current threshold, or boost move damage. So like arguably it could be a generic boost that's available to unlock, and whether or not you wanted to do it, right? So then,
Right.
like, wouldn't that be interesting? Like, whatever damage is, like, increase your superstar's total damage by 50% if that was the boost move, or whatever. So
Right.
I don't know.
I don't
We
know.
of course we'll find out all this. They'll clarify it and we'll know,
And we'll
and
know.
their ideas will likely be better than ours. And maybe some of our
Usually.
ideas will be better than, and they can give us
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me just
Well,
respond real quick to a thought on B-Rocks here, real quick, because he said, well, the problem with that is they wouldn't be able to monetize it well. But if, like, for example, the tiers came into play, like, A B tier character can only go up to a maximum of so many points. An A tier character, blah, blah, blah. So, like, the base is actually higher for an S plus tier than an S tier. That means you have more points to play with if you've got an S plus tier or blah, blah, etc. So, you can still, they're still going to do something to make sure that Striker Gold Dust, like you said, stays not the top of the meta.
Right,
Gold dust.
right.